Did you know that many entrepreneurs are literally wired differently than 80% of the rest of the population? Yeah. Well, one thing, you're crazy to kind of jump off on your own. But seriously, people like Christian Mickelson and Marie Forleo are actually highly sensitive people. Now, what do I mean by highly sensitive? People who are highly sensitive are people who are have multiple interests, but they also have multiple sensitivities, and they tend to hate being boxed in by routine jobs. But they also are extremely curious and can have great leaps of passion and knowingness, and that makes you perfect to be an entrepreneur. But there are some problems. Now, if you think you might be highly sensitive, let's do a little quick test. You want to try that? Here's some of the things you'll notice if you're highly sensitive. You get overwhelmed if too many things need you, too many people, just too much incoming. You'll get overwhelmed very quickly and go, I've had enough. Or a lot of people come to dump their junk on you. They dump their problems on you. They want your advice. They want you to fix things for them because you're so wise and you have so many multiple ways of seeing stuff. Or when you were a kid, somebody was usually once or more a day was telling you you're too sensitive or stop being so sensitive. Another thing, bright lights, loud noises, chaos. You can only take just so much. You might want to go out for the night, but then you definitely want to go back home. Smells. That one's mine. Smells. Y'all. Smells. Scratchy tags. Right? And another thing is you find yourself needing, not wanting, but needing downtime to recharge. No more peopling today. You find that to be required. And you need deep connections with at least one person. Not many people's, but you need a very deep connection with at least one person. And the final thing, you get upset when people are being insensitive, or there's injustice, or cruelty, or violence. It really, really hurts you. So, how many of those did you say yes to? 6 or more, and you're probably highly sensitive. And chances are you were taught that being highly sensitive is bad. It's detrimental, like it's socially unacceptable. It's a problem, being emotional, shameful even. Wrong. I'm going to tell you that is completely and totally wrong. And I'm here to tell you that you are already perfect. It's just that you are attempting to run Windows software on your very fancy Apple hardware. And today I'm going to give you some tips on how to begin to honor that gift and how to stop holding yourself back from what you truly want by second guessing, procrastinating, all the things, right? So why should you listen to me? Well, about 20 years ago, well, actually 25, if we want to come right down to it, I had a near-death experience. And I was dead for about 45 minutes, alone in my backyard. And when I woke up, things were very different. And I woke up with the ability, not immediately, I didn't notice it immediately, but I woke up with the ability to see and track energy through space, essentially. And time became an illusion, and all the things that people talk about when they're talking about quantum physics. I was able to see it and track it. And what I understood is that our thoughts have vibrations. And when we have a thought that is not helping us, it's almost like a rock in a river, and it creates a ripple, a stopping effect. And I'm able to see that and quickly change it. I know it's weird. And there's times when I don't even believe it either. But over the last 14 years, I have helped thousands and thousands of people heal something physical or emotional or even spiritually, so that what they want or where they want to go in life becomes effortless. And that's what I want to do for you today. I want to give you some tips and tools that you can use to help yourself move forward quickly. Okay? Because I believe highly sensitive people are healthy and successful when they have resilience tools to conquer an insensitive world. Everybody's heard how sensitive thoroughbred racehorses are. I love horses, even though one of them killed me. I still love them. And I've been rescuing thoroughbred racehorses for years and years and years. And I have the perfect example of how being highly sensitive can teach you things that are not helpful to you. Okay? So I rescued this horse named Trail, bless his heart. He was 6 years old when I rescued him, and he'd been on the track or in a stall since he was 6 months old. And all he knew was going out, running in a circle, and coming back in. That's all he knew. He didn't know anything else. And he was so sensitive. Now, he was insensitive to noise and lights and flashing like most horses are, but he was highly sensitive to normal stuff like seeing grass and leaves and water. Bless his heart. And he wanted to stay in his stall because he didn't know what grass was for. I would put him outside and he would stand around and say, I don't know. What am I doing out here? And I put him back in and he would, thank you for putting me in my safe place. Does that happen to you? Or when you are trying to learn new things, do you tend to stop yourself because it's not a safe space? Do you second guess yourself? It's common. We do it. And here's the thing. Since I'm able to see energy, I'm able to notice the vibration of it, and our bodies are playing a tune. And so if you're highly sensitive, and you've probably noticed this too, when you start having an emotion or somebody else around you has an emotion that has a vibration that tends to make you anxious or worried, you're going to be more likely to not be bold, right? To stop yourself, to second guess, to worry, because you're trying to avoid that feeling. And so the memory of having that feeling is literally the thing that is stopping you from what you want to do. So what do you do about it? Do you say, no, that's not true and try to ride over it? That's what most of the gurus teach. They say, fake it till you make it. Just do it. Just do it. And eventually it'll be okay. But God, isn't that painful? It's so freaking painful. Here's what you want to do instead. You want to notice what you're feeling. Seriously. You don't want to notice what you're trying to do. You just want to notice what you're feeling and identify the feeling. But we're not taught to do that. We're taught to ride roughshod over our feelings. Feelings don't matter. Facts over feelings, people. Right? No, stop. Notice what you're feeling. Acknowledge that feeling like it is a screaming toddler. How many people notice that if you don't acknowledge a toddler, it will continue until you do? Right? So what you want to do is recognize what you're feeling. Because when you start procrastinating and second guessing and worrying and all that stuff, you're trying to push through the feeling. You're trying to ignore the feeling and ride over it. And just like a screaming toddler, it's going to be there, creating a vibration, creating resistance, creating trouble until you acknowledge it. So stop and say, I'm feeling fear. And just notice it. Notice the fear. Don't dive into a pit of fear, y'all. Just notice the fear. Make friends with it. Because the whole reason we let fear stop us is because we're afraid of it. So when we make friends with it, when we make friends with all of our emotions, and by the way, that's really hard if you're a sensitive person, because gosh dang, there's so many of them, and they can feel so overwhelming. So just make friends with one or two feelings that you're feeling. That's another thing highly sensitive people can do. Y'all can feel so many emotions at once. I know I can. That's a special thing that you can do. You can multitask emotions, and it's amazing. But what's going on is that fear or worry or any self-sabotaging thought, negative self-talk, you put it there to keep you safe, to keep you away from things that scare you. And I know you're going to go, no, I didn't. And of course, maybe somebody else put it there. I know my mother put the fear of God into me if I walked anywhere where I wasn't supposed to. Maybe it was your mother. But we're not here to point fingers. We are here to take responsibility, because that's the next thing. It's another way you're going to learn to stop holding yourself back. You take 100%, not 110, not 120, not 50%, but 100%. Own exactly how you feel and make friends with it. Yes, I feel sad, scared. I'm worried what they're going to think about me. I'm afraid of being judged. I might get spanked. Do you get it? You might say terrible things to yourself. And that's what's creating your resistance. That's what's stopping you from doing what you really, really want. That's the real reason. So you need to look underneath it because it's just those guardrails. And the guardrails show up as procrastination. You might call it laziness, hesitation. Oh my gosh, I just can't print this publish button on this landing page. Oh my God. Or I can't publish that video, that reel. Do you get it? It shows up as second guessing. What should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Man, that'll make you crazy in a heartbeat, won't it? Changing your mind over and over again. Worry. You do it and then you worry after the fact. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? You have a great interview and then you worry. What if I said something to make people upset? That is your guardrails letting you know you've gone outside of the fence. And here's the next one. Living your life by other people's opinion. That is to keep you safe. Each one of these things is something that you learned to keep yourself safe, and you created guardrails. And the final thing is saying really nasty, crappy stuff about yourself. Listen to the way you talk to yourself. It doesn't help. It's there to keep you inside that box that you made for yourself. So this is what you do instead. Remember Trail? Remember how afraid he was to go out of his stall? I certainly couldn't reason with him. And I didn't know at the time that I could pull that fear out of him. So instead, I walked him like he was a dog on a leash. Wherever we went, we walked around. We walked around the farm. We walked down dirt roads. I took him for walks every single day. And trust me, he was 16'3". Do you guys know how tall that is? That is a big horse. He weighed 1,400 pounds. And so when he decided he wanted to go back to the barn, sometimes he would drag me quite a little way until I got him stopped. Yes, it was dangerous. Yeah, I'm crazy. But he figured it out. He slowly understood that I was his safe place and he would be okay. So how does that help you? You are your safe place. And how you can make those things bigger is first believe. This is my bliss system. And the B is believe. Believe. Focus on what you believe and verify that it's actually true. And then believe, because here's the clue. If it's not true for everybody, then it's not true. So if somebody like Marie Forleo or Tony Robbins can jump up and do whatever, it just means they've had more practice than you have. That's it. That's all it means. So what do you believe is available to you? The next one is listen to the very sharp, amazing intuition that you have as a highly sensitive person. Listen to it. How many times have you not listened to your gut feelings and it worked out really badly? More than 5? More than 10? Well, cut it out. Start listening. And the more you listen, the better your life gets. Now, the next thing you're going to do is when you start listening, notice those little twinges, those misaligned feelings, those guardrails. Notice them. Identify. That's the I in the bliss system, B.L.I.S. Notice it. Make friends with the feeling. Relax with it. There are multiple religions that talk about how letting go helps. And the Buddhists call it Tonglen, where you can just become okay so that feeling no longer has power over you. That's what I'm asking you to do. Find that thing and make friends with it because it's not going to hurt you. And then the next one is actually see what's actually there, because we'll project our fears onto our future. And we miss a whole lot of opportunities and we hold ourselves back from a whole lot of stuff. So see what's actually there. That's the first S in bliss. So see, instead of knowing Because, how many times are you trying to teach somebody and they say, oh, yeah, I know. Do you I know yourself? Oh, yeah, I know. Isn't that irritating when you're trying to tell somebody something and they just say, I know, I know? So stop doing it to yourself. Okay. And then the last one is sustain. You sustain this change by every single time you run into a wall, a barrier. You start with the curiosity, what do I believe? And then you go with the listening and then the identifying and then the seeing, and you do it over and over again. And you know what? You will level up. You will stop holding yourself back. And you're going to uncover the hidden obstacles and walls. And they're not going to stop you anymore. Everybody has this power because you are exactly who you think you are. That's what I'm going to say. Exactly who you think you are. So if you are telling yourself that you're weak or you're scared or you can't do this or everybody else is better than you or they're going to judge me and they're going to say terrible things, well, you know what? You're right. You are 100% right. And how is that going to be bringing wealth and success to you? Guaranteed it's not. So yes, you can ride roughshod over your fears. And yes, that works. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of willpower. And if you are highly sensitive, it almost physically hurts to do that. So try my bliss system. I believe it is a kinder and more gentle way to be curious and encourage yourself to go through and create this new opportunity for yourself. And so, what happened to Trail? Where did he go? Well, Trail, he grew up to be a big boy, and he started carrying a teenage girl, a young teen, 13-year-old girl, over jumps and running through, doing cross country and doing dressage and doing stadium jumping, just like what you saw on the Olympics this past week. And I am so proud of him because that takes courage and toughness. That takes trust and, of course, strength. And he's out there being successful and growing past his fears. And you can too. So, what's the next step? Well, I would love to help you find the rocks in your river. And so, specifically for the Wellness from Within Summit, I am offering a free 30-minute session with me where I will go through your filing cabinets and find the places where you are stopping yourself from moving forward, where you are believing false things. Here's the thing, y'all. You can keep going the way you've been going, or you can reach out and ask for some help. It takes me just a few seconds to find those rocks. I will pull them up, I will hand them to you, and I will give you your next best steps. So if that sounds interesting to you, go to sallyreid.com, click on the link, and join me in a chat. Thank you so much for listening.